What's up?
What up,
Hey.
boys?
How's it going?
How's everybody doing? Wednesday, January 22nd,
Let's go.
Packet Live. We've decided that this show is going to be named Packet Live going forward, and then we can have like what we're going to talk about after. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
I kind of just took action, made it happen, whether you guys liked it or not.
All right. Well,
There you go. The only way things get done.
That's how we're doing things.
Somebody got to do it.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to go head first into this shallow end, you know? I mean, deep
yeah.
end.
Well, I'm out here in Utah right now, about to go to the Sundance Film Festival and go reveal the Packet Hub, which is pretty exciting stuff. Be nice to go talk to some filmmakers about what we've been doing.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. I feel like we've turned the corner with utility, in particular with domains, which we talked about, and the hub, which we've talked about. And the next piece of that actually is the Creators Hub, which is a sub tab on the Packet Hub. And the big idea with this technology is enabling creators to come and get a domain name and begin to promote, using this platform to promote themselves, promote their content for distribution, promote apps, platforms, music, blogs, pretty much anything that people want to promote off of the Packet Hub, but with the criteria being that you got to get a domain name.
Yeah, here I can present it, right?
Here, do I need to bring it up?
Um,
Also, real quick, Josh, for everybody that's on this stream, you can go to the post on our X account and repost it to your communities, share it far and wide. Let's get this thing trending. We got some teams working in the back trying to push it out. So if you can repost, comment, like, so that we can really get, make this thing go far and wide today.
Yeah, totally. So this is the Creator Hub, which is I think I'm most excited about it. It was one of those shower thoughts that came to fruition, and because we were building the Packet Hub and looking at platforms, and I kept just thinking, like, how do you get? Because every time I tell someone about the Packet Hub, they'd be like, "Oh, great, I love it. Can I?" Well, every time I tell a creator, they'd be like, "Oh, great, can I put my movie on there?" And I'm like, "Well, it's for the platforms, but there's a lot of platforms on there that you could put your movie on there, and then you could promote your movie through the Packet Hub advertising to be able to, send people to your, to your movie, but you only have, limited space for advertising within there." And so I was really just trying to think, like, how can these creators promote their projects? And that's where the Creator Hub came into mind. Is what if we could create an ecosystem where you could go promote your project regardless of what platform it is on, even if you want to just go and promote it to Apple TV or to Netflix or to a regular streamer, or you can go and get a domain and drive people to your own website within the Packet network. And that is what gets me really excited, is because now the Packet Hub and domains come together in a really cool way, because now you go claim your domain, and that domain can drive to a website that promotes your piece of content. And this is kind of the on-ramp for creators to be able to get involved and to be able to promote and to be able to self-promote their projects regardless of what streaming platform or what music platform or what podcast platform they're promoting it. Because even if you go and put your project on YouTube, let's just say, how do you get discovered? How do you get found in, I think there's 1 billion hours of content on there. It's like how do you get found, And so the Creator Hub becomes that ecosystem. It's almost like a social network where you can go and be promoting your content. And that just gets me fired up.
Yeah. And it's true because it is a big problem for creators across, not just like independent creators, but even people making major motion pictures, because a lot of people believe that, let's say you land, your podcast is now on Spotify, right? Even if you're, paid by Spotify to put your content on, which is obviously a huge accomplishment, or if your movie is distributed by Netflix, which is obviously a huge accomplishment to be distributed by Netflix. But now you're just one of many projects, tens of thousands of projects, or, songs or podcasts on these major platforms. And yeah, how do you rise to the top? How do people discover you? So when people put their project out, or sell their project to a major distributor or get distribution, on whatever platform, they're expecting that the platform is going to spend money on marketing. It's just like an expectation. But the reality is that these platforms aren't really trying to spend money on advertising, because then that cuts into their profit margin. And they don't really care if your project's successful, because they have so much content on there. They know something on there is going to be successful. And a lot of these platforms are driven by subscription fees anyway, so they don't really care if your project, gains a certain amount of traction or not. But you care, right? And so how do you go and promote? And what I've realized is that a lot of people are relegated to just social media for promotions. You're promoting off of your X or your IG or your Facebook or whatever. But then you're limited either by the algorithm or by the advertising dollars that you're going to give to these various different platforms. And so the big idea with the Creator Hub and with the Packet Hub, and where we want to see this go, is that people can kind of influence the destiny of their project by staking Packet to determine your priority placement on these various different tabs. And you also need to have a Packet domain. And so the intent here is to, create a mechanism where having a domain and staking Packet are catalysts to be able to drive awareness for your project. And as more people come into this platform, into this ecosystem to promote, and ultimately then go to their social channels and drive people to this, where people can see, more information about a piece of content, or, get some kind of insight there, then we can create this cross promotional ecosystem, this cross promotional environment, for discovery. And so this is just the beginning of this concept kind of, taking shape. And then we'll be looking towards the stake to feature yourself tool set. It's something that obviously hasn't been built yet, but the intent is there for that to become a way that people get discovered.
Yeah, and that was Caleb's idea actually, and I love it. And this is just like, it's such a cool idea. It took me a minute to kind of like wrap my mind around what he was saying, but I love this idea where you claim your domain, and the more you stake to your domain, the higher you'll rank. And so now you have this mechanism for people to self promote themselves and to rise above the noise within the ecosystem. And what's interesting is everyone knows advertising's pay to play, like that's just the name of the game. But with Packet, you're not paying that to a platform, you're not paying that to somebody, you're just staking it. You still own custody of those coins. And what's cool about where the and what I'm excited to talk to creators about right now when I go when I get to Park City is Packet's cheap right now. So by staking to your domain at these prices, as Packet goes up, you'll continue to rank higher than other people. People will have to pay more to be able to rank above you because you started staking at these low prices. And so that really favors these early adopters. and creators, and that's going to be it's a cool value proposition and a really cool mechanism that brings all the pieces of the Packet network together.
Yeah, I've always said this about Packet Network, and we've been building this network for a long time. Obviously, CJDNS long predates PKT, and the PKT launch back in August 2019. But the vision and my aspiration was always to scale CJDNS. With Stake to Earn launching this past August, we're now seeing the growth of the network. Just clearly, people are beginning to take action and install CJDNS nodes and domains. Caleb's now brought this vision of decentralized domains, and there's some insane partnerships that we're working on right now for domains. We had an incredible call yesterday about that, and I think something that I'm passionate about is really getting more people onboarded on domains and utilizing that infrastructure technology to benefit their own businesses and their own projects. We can talk about that in a little bit. But what I've always said is that when you're talking about a network, it's just boring and esoteric. Like, people just don't really understand why or how, or just why they would get involved, really. But when you start creating a front end, when it starts becoming about a certain topic or certain media type, and when there's real touch points where people can connect how the network functions, the decentralized nature of the network, the cryptocurrency, and how they can make money or how it benefits them personally, and in particular when it's an app on your phone or a website on your phone, that's when people go like, oh, I get it. Oh, I see what you guys are doing here. And so the Packet Hub and now Creator Hub, I think fulfill that in a lot of ways, really begin to fulfill that mission. And I'm excited to see people's eyes light up and how they can take action. And it's not just about go and buy Packet and speculate on the direction of the price over time, but if you don't even care about Packet, go and buy Packet so you can promote your film. And a lot of these types of creators have money to spend, are motivated to spend money to promote themselves. And if we can create a way for them to bring those resources and utilize this as a platform, ecosystem, and tool for self-promotion, and we can see real utility. And one of our early investors in this project and advisors just been berating Josh and I for years, and he would just always ask, why does somebody need to buy Packet? Just give me a reason. Just what is it? What's the reason? Why do I need to buy Packet? Ethereum, you got to buy Ethereum, whether you hate Ethereum or love Ethereum. If you want to send anything over the Ethereum network, or you want to get an end, you just have to have Ethereum in your wallet. You got to have $5 of Ethereum. You got to have $10 in a congestion period. You might need to have $400 to send, $2 worth of USDT. You might get a $400 gas fee. So you need $400 of Ethereum. Real great network over there, by the way. Good one, Vitalik. But the nature here, why do you need PKT? And again, even if you don't care about PKT, even if you don't want to hold PKT for speculative purposes or investment, you need it to promote. And you can take the marketing budget of your project and you can allocate it here. And because it's not necessarily an advertising spend, it's a staking endeavor. You're holding that in your wallet. You could sell it later if you want, but it at least gives people the impetus to actually make that purchase, and we can start driving some trade volume on this currency.
Yeah, one thing I was just thinking about while you guys were talking was I don't know, people probably don't know this, but about me is that before getting into crypto and blockchain stuff, I was, a DJ and music producer. Well, still am a producer, but not so much DJ anymore. But I was just thinking that when you release music on Spotify, you basically put your song out on through a distribution, which you have to usually pay a renewal fee every year, somewhere between like $20 per song, or per release, I guess. And then once it goes live on like Spotify and Apple, on iTunes, and you put it up on, SoundCloud, there's like all these different streaming services that it just automatically gets uploaded to. And then it's your responsibility to drive traffic to Spotify or wherever the platform that you choose that you want to, aggregate all your plays, because that's where you're going to get the most payout. But like, if there was a place for like more than, that another place for discovery, that, a lot of people were, going to find new music, and it was like a place where you could just, it just aggregated everything. It would just be another thing to put your music up and spread awareness. I mean, you're always trying to spread awareness for your projects. And it goes hand in hand with anything. I mean, I think that this thing could even go even a step further with like books, book talk is like the biggest thing ever right now. And people are self-publishing books through Amazon. I think it's like, it might even be free, or no, it's like $10 or something super cheap. It's like really inexpensive to release a book. But how are you going to get people to find your book? I mean, same thing with music, same thing with games, casinos, like all these things. Everybody's pushing their projects to get people to bring awareness. So having a platform where everything is there, it's not just for, it's not just for music, but it's got, media and games, casino. I mean, I was just thinking, because I see all these things pop up on Instagram, all the different like Plinko games and stuff. It's like, where do people even know about these gaming platforms that aren't, the Stakes and the, Reveal or any of these like big platforms? Where are the small guys, and like, how did they get known? And so that's what I think, becomes really, really cool, is like this creator hub where you can submit anything, and you can have anything that you're passionate about and you're building and you're working hard, submit it there at one of the spots. And hey, you can continue to go aggregate your views and plays on the platform you choose, but having an extra little spot that is going to have traffic, going in and out of, just adds to the possibility of your project becoming more, building more awareness for. So I think it's super rad.
Yeah, and a place to be able to rise above the noise by being able to, stake more money to your domain and be able to, be at the top of the list and having a pathway to do so. I love this category of books. I hadn't even thought about that. We should add that as a category within the Creator Hub.
That's great. Yeah, it's a really good idea. Caleb, what are your thoughts on this? It's probably nice for you after all these years. What are you going on 15 years of CJDNS to start to see people get excited about building, whatever the heck, you probably don't care so much, but whatever the heck's getting built here, and start driving people to these web URLs and real utility for the currency.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's definitely nice to see activity. It's nice to be useful. You can work for a long time at something, and when it doesn't serve it doesn't serve a purpose. I mean, even if people are buying it, it doesn't serve a purpose. It feels kind of pointless, but it is nice when you do something and it feels like it's useful. That's a positive thing. I mean, I on my side, I'm planning on putting together a little service that people can use to redirect to their own website. Somebody was asking about that today, and it's something that would be really nice, because right now you can put you can buy a domain and put a CNAME in it, and it will point to your server, but you still have to serve that domain on the server. But with a redirect service, you can just have a server that serves whatever domain, and then you can redirect from a packet domain to that one. And I think that lower the barrier for a lot of people.
I was thinking about that last night, actually. It's great that you were doing that, because as creating this, you're like, well, how do we get people, their movies on Netflix, right? We're not going to get Netflix to go and point their server, give out their server. So how do we get people to be able to direct them using that domain? So that'll be amazing.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Even
so
if
just to clarify, so if I get, myfilm.pkt.live, right? And then that's the tile on the hub, then I would be able to connect myfilm.pkt.live that would drive the user to the Netflix, tab where Netflix, or let's just say a better example would be like to drive the user to iTunes so where they can actually see the movie, there.
Yeah, or your website or whatever URL that you'd like to put in. You just put that in as a redirect URL. Registrars like Namecheap have this as a service where you click that you want to have a redirect, but that's additional. That's a service of the registrar, and packet domains don't really have at this point a registrar. You're just registering it with the chain. So I've registered bounce.pkt, and so I'm going to put up a little one pager on there that lets you plug in your domain that you own and plug in where you would like to redirect it. You have to put the CNAME to bounce.pkt, and then once you've done that, and then you just click to sign with your wallet, so the bounce.pkt knows it's you, the owner of the domain, and then it'll just store that record, and whenever somebody goes to any one of the top level domains that's your PKT domain, it will bounce it to wherever you've put in the bounce service.
Now, what if the creator wants the destination to be their packet domain, like they actually are building on that site? They can do that, and they wouldn't need to use bounce, right? They would just be able to.
So there's another kind of a more complex version of this, which would be if you wanted to. I remember Josh did a site on I forgot the name of that service. Canva. It did a site on Canva, and Canva would only accept one top level domain, so it had to be josh.pkt.live, if I remember well. None of the other ones would work because even though it goes to Canva's server receives a request, doesn't know what to do with it, drops it on the floor. So it would be another more advanced usage of bounce to be able to redirect somebody to have one domain that is on Canva, and any of the other domains bounce to that one. It's more complex because to prevent that one from bouncing back to bounce and then cycling around, that's the complexity. But that would be a interesting feature to be able to have.
So let me just make sure. Let me go the other way. So it would be if I only had josh.pkt.live, and that was what I registered on Canva, and they only allow you to have one top level domain included. That one could direct to bounce, and then bounce could serve it up to all other 60 top level domains.
That's a future feature. And the reason it's a future feature is because you have to make all the other 59 go to bounce, but that one go to Canva. And that's a feature that the name server system doesn't have.
Got it. Okay. Well, these are cool ideas, things that as we run into some of the limitations of technology out there, and we can, mitigate them or provide, some sort of kind of back-end service here that allows these things to happen. It becomes pretty exciting as people, will start using these things. I mean, it's interesting. So the call we had yesterday, I think we can just talk about it, because if it happens or it doesn't matter. Last week we had, or on Saturday, we did X Space, and we had Theo on that X Space. And Theo is a really cool project. There's a couple of these kind of projects: Unstoppable Domains, ENS, Ethereum Name Server, and Theo. And their value proposition, they were, I think, came out of Binance Labs. and their value proposition, similar to Unstoppable Domains, is to create a way for people to get a vanity address for accepting payments, so you don't need to put in like a long string of alphanumeric to send people cryptocurrency. And everyone's starting to kind of dip into the domain space. So I saw on Unstoppable Domains, they're allowing you to basically like mint a top level domain that you have. So if you have, caleb.com, you can come and, mint that. I don't really understand what the value is, because if you don't renew, you don't pay the renewal fee to VeriSign, like I don't know what the point of having a NFT for a domain that you don't even own anymore is. But whatever. People are trying to get involved with top level domains. And the problem that I've seen with these services is that the vanity handle, has an @ symbol in it. And correct me if I'm wrong, Caleb, but you can't put an @ symbol in a URL. It rejects it. It's one of the symbols that you can't put. So if you have, Caleb @Theo or Caleb .eth, or @eth, whatever, you can't use that as a URL. And so what we were talking about is a way for people who have these handles, these vanity handles, to get a PKT address. And so it could be, we were bringing up the idea that they could get, let's say eth.pkt, and then if you had, Josh @eth, then you could have josh.eth.pkt.live, whatever, and you get your URL that way. The other way is if they don't really care about having their name in the URL, and they're just going to say, hey, it's just cool to allow all of our users to have their name.pkt.live, and it's just great that we can just give them a free domain, and there's a way for that to happen. And we'll have to see how it all shakes out. But it's really nice to be able to have these conversations, because nobody, Packet's the world's first decentralized blockchain based DNS that doesn't require special software to be able to access it. And they were complaining about how these other alternatives, require special software. And it's like, who cares if you are requiring people to use special software? Then 99%, I'm just making up this number, aren't going to install that software, and they're not going to be able to get to that URL. So there's a lot of conversations happening like this that I believe can be incredibly impactful. FIO has 2 million registrations on their platform. I want to say that Unstoppable Domains has 4 million. So those two partnerships alone, and if it's not them, it's going to be someone else. It's 6 million potential, registrations. It'd be an absolute supercharger for this technology. And again, being that the Packet network, in particular, Packet Domains, is completely cryptocurrency agnostic. Like, it doesn't matter what crypto a project is using, or if they don't use crypto at all, it just does not matter. They can promote whatever they want on their website. It's their website, right? And so people are starting to realize, and when we had this conversation with their technologists yesterday, you could see the light bulb going off about the value proposition here, and how important this advancement is, and the opportunity of what they can do with it. So hopefully we can get something done with them. Great people, great project, and let's just see if we can get Packet included in the conversation. What did you think of the conversation, Caleb, yesterday?
Pretty positive. I mean, we're talking about, selling or providing services to people who are doing things with them. So, why do people buy a FIO handle, and then why do they need a web domain as well? And how would that be packaged in order to, provide something that people can use? All of that stuff sounds really like we're getting to where people are going to be able. It's going to serve somebody's need, you know, and that's obviously where we need to be.
Yeah, and they brought up a great example of a lot of these, meme projects and technology projects that just need a web domain, and the truth is some of these aren't going to be around for that long. But they still need a web destination where they can put up their promotional materials. And the value proposition, I think what they were saying was like, if you come and they charge, right? So FIO charges you. I know Unstoppable Domains requires you to renew every single year this handle. You got to pay them, and it's not cheap. It's, somewhere in the $50-$60 range per year. And I'm assuming, I haven't looked at the pricing on FIO, but I'm sure they do charge an annual fee. But what they were saying is when you pay, you would also get your packet domain, and it's really valuable because they're finding that there's a lot of use cases for these vanity domains. That's just very cool that they've been able to strike a chord and people are willing to pay, tens of dollars for a vanity domain that requires renewal and just enables people to just pay you. But if it comes with a web URL, these, projects need a web destination. And if they can get a web destination that doesn't require renewal fees, doesn't require privacy, costs, and they can domicile a website on by using the packet infrastructure, that becomes an increasingly compelling value proposition. And so they were saying, like, we might not even include FIO in the name. We'll just, we'll just do direct people straight to packet and just provide it as like a packaged benefit when you purchase your domain. Of course, this puts a little bit of emphasis on simplifying. And so we've been talking about, kind of a dump stake style, abbreviated way to acquire packet domains where you can see the price of the domain and you can click a button and it will literally create the stake and acquire the domain in kind of like, a smart contract, which would obviously be incredibly beneficial. And, and there's even the potential to improve the front end UI, just to onboard more people. But yeah, we don't have that yet. Even with the two-step process of creating your stake and then connecting it to a domain, while that might be a hurdle for a normie, it's free. So if you got a problem with free, then you can go pay Namecheap for the rest of your life. So people just have to get hip to the game. The other issue, of course, being how do people acquire packet, and because you will need packet in your wallet, and it's also a little bit of a hurdle for people to acquire Ethereum on Base. We know that that's even just a little bit of hurdle. So we've been talking about some ways to create a faucet for people to be able to get there, and we really need to get an on ramp into the packet ecosystem, like what is it called, Moonshot, or whatever that one MoonPay thing. There's some platforms like that I think could be incredibly beneficial to just simplify ways for people to be able to get packet with a credit card. So we got work to do, but
yeah, I really want to investigate this Unstoppable Domains thing more. I guess maybe I was incorrect about the renewal fees. I don't know. I need to look a little deeper into this. I looked
it up.
Okay. Yeah, I looked into my my account just now, and I still have my Unstoppable Domains. So yeah, but
I thought that you didn't though.
What's that?
You thought that you didn't, and it's weird because on their website it says non-revocable. So
yeah, I do still have them on the platform. I guess there's an auto renewal. I don't know. I need to, like I said, I need to go dig a little deeper into all this stuff.
Yeah, it's like non-revocable until they revoke it, I guess. But we just need to find out if it does get revoked if you don't pay, or if they just say, hey, you can keep it, but you can't use it until you give us the money.
But I was just looking on their platform. It looks like you can build a website on there, or maybe it says coming soon. Yeah, website's coming soon. So they're doing something. But that's what's exciting about this is like everyone's kind of doing their own things in these different places, and I think this underlying technology that is on the Packet network is super valuable and can be impactful for these projects that are doing whatever they're doing. And so I've always been of the nature of just building bridges between people that are doing cool things. And that's actually what I loved about our conversation with Fio is they're like, yeah, we have this idea, we want to do it. It'd be great if we didn't have to spend a bunch of development resources to do it. If you guys are already doing it, then let's partner. And that's always been our mindset as well. Is it's like we don't need to build the whole world, if somebody's doing it. And that was really why we moved over to Base. Is it's like these guys have spent hundreds of millions of dollars developing wallet technology and blockchain technology and community and all these things. It's like, yeah, sure, we could go build it all ourselves, but why not just go and leverage technology that already exists instead of building things twice?
Yeah, for sure. Unless you get a $500 million chunk of cash to start it off, and then you can hire a lot of developers, and you end up and in success, those projects look like Sui, and you end up with a $15 billion market cap and a long way to go of potential upside. But yeah, it's an unbelievable amount of work, and we did experience that launching an L1, and you really do need to build a developer community, and without a developer community, it's incredibly difficult to scale. The cool thing is there is a really vibrant developer community in the Base ecosystem, and we still have a long way to go to get the attention that that this project deserves. And I think people that the biggest thing we always say with Packet is just no one knows it exists, and so we just have to do a better job kind of branching out and bringing it to people's attention. But these partnerships, are the best catalyst for that. And then getting utility is obviously one of the most important things. So that's why these tools that we're starting to put this emphasis into are incredibly powerful. Just to switch gears a little bit, Caleb, do you want to talk about some of the next things that are on your docket? I know there's a couple things that you're poking around with.
Let's see. Would be the would be nice to have a little contract that makes it so that you can register a domain with the Packet, so it does the staking and creating the domain all in one shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a big one, actually. We were just talking to the Base guys, and they had brought that up as well. I think it's just really fundamental to just remove that extra step. And I think it'll be a huge value add to the community.
It's like dump state for domains.
Yeah.
Well, you can take it a step further too, and make it so that you can buy a domain with other currencies like ETH.
Oh, wow.
Right, because if you're going to interact with multiple contracts and chain them together, you could chain one that does a Uniswap transaction.
Yeah, because on Uniswap, even today, let's say if you're in the Coinbase wallet, not Coinbase app, but the Coinbase wallet, and you want to sell Packet for USDC, even though we don't have a trading pair of Packet USDC.
Yeah, we do. You can buy Packet with USDC.
I'm saying that's what it's being done through the wallet.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
And it's being done through the trading pair is
understood.
Is Ethereum.
Right.
But what that wallet will do is it will do the whole, do all the transactions. And I think that's what Caleb's talking about, where it's like, yeah, you could go buy a domain. It's still going to go through and ultimately transact in PKT, but you can pay with whatever currency you want, and it's going to get the Packet part of the transaction done, but you don't have to actually go and, acquire some Packet if you don't want to. So that's really
that would
powerful.
be so rad to be able to just, because then the whole goal is to remove as much friction as possible to get mass adoption. So if you could just say, hey, just go do it with USDC, and it just goes and dump stakes our version of dump stake, it's like a term now. Dump stakes it so that you could get a domain. That would be insane, because now you could just, you don't have to be like, oh, you got to go buy Packet and you got to go do this, you got to do this. It's like, hey, you could do it with USDC, you could do it with Packet, and it still has the same effect where you have people buying packet out of the market to be able to stake it. That would be amazing. I can't wait for that feature.
Yeah, dump stake has become a generic term for chaining multiple operations together in a contract call.
Coined a new term, Caleb. Good one. Yeah, it's a good one. So yeah, so that's fully agree on that. What else do you got? What else do you got on your list, Caleb?
Oh, right. Bounce.pkt. That's the main thing. Because and then there's all these little bugs, and they all need to be looked at, which that's kind of a daily life thing. But the next big exciting reveal is Bounce PKT.
Yeah. I thought you did Bounce, or I thought you had done something for it.
I registered it.
Oh, okay.
Just like everybody that registers domain names with plan of future projects.
And is this related to the VPN technology as well?
Bounce is for somebody who, in the initial iteration, it's for somebody who has a domain already and they just want to point it to their other domain.
Right.
I mean, you could go and put a record on josh.pkt, like you could put a record of x.josh.pkt, and then you could put josh.pkt to go to Bounce, and Bounce will bounce to X, and x.josh will go to your Canva, and Canva will know x.josh. That way you can use Bounce with a packet domain only. That would be a hack to be able to use it with only a packet domain. But in general, you get a lot of people, like all the things that are on the hub that is showing right now, they already have domains. They already have places that they want people to go to. And so Bounce can just send them there.
Yeah, that's great. Another thing we can talk about, Jess, is bringing back good old Packet Pal back into the limelight here. And, you know, this project really started with Packet Pal helping onboard people and getting real user adoption and creating a white glove service for people to be able to participate in the Packet network. Because setting up a CJDNS node on a server for a majority of the world is, makes their, head explode. And so creating the ability for any person to participate is something that I keep beating a drum on. Is like, we want to get the 99%, not the 1% people who can interact with their terminal. And so that's where Packet Pal comes into play, and being able to provide turnkey solutions. So obviously we have the Mini, which we've been selling for a long time, but the Mini is a CJDNS node that you can go and put in your home. Also, people have been wanting to be able to just run servers, and we now have the ability where you can rent a server from Packet Pal, and we'll set it up for you. We'll go and run it. You'll keep the stake in your wallet. You'll stake your coins. You'll create the pub ID, and then we'll just go run the node on a server for you and point it to your pub ID. And all the coins that you're going to be earning will just go into your Web3 wallet, and you'll just have a real easy turnkey solution to be running infrastructure that you don't have to manage. And we'll do it all for you. That's step one. But what I actually think is the coolest part is we will rent you yield credits. And so we've put together this mechanism for us to rent yield credits. Because if you wanted to go get 20 million packet, you got to go drop 20 G's into the market. And that's, for some people, prohibitive to be able to do that. But what we've created is a mechanism where people can rent yield credits from us to and they'll be able to earn as if they had 20 million packet staked in their wallet or 20 million yield credits in their wallet. And so we've created this mechanism for 3-month periods where you can rent yield credits and be able to earn the revenue off of those. And so we have 20 million, 40 million, and 80 million yield credits. And so this becomes just a real easy way where whether you're hands-on or hands-off, if you're hands-on and you're already running your servers and you just want to be able to rent the yield credits, we can go assign those yield credits to your wallet. If you just don't want to touch it, you're like, hey, I want to make passive income, and this is a cool project, and I want to be part of it, but I'm not technical. We'll literally do it all for you. You'll just give us your Web3 address, and we will run the server and provide the yield credits. And all you'll do is just yield into your wallet every single day and start earning passive income. And so this is just like something. It's just, I love this idea, because now you can just bring on people who want to be part of this, who aren't technical, or even if you are technical, you just don't have the time, or you're technical and you don't have the money to go and drop 20 to 80 grand into the market. You can now participate and be able to get these high yields off of the packet infrastructure stake to earn protocol.
Yeah, it's a great great offering, and really simplifies things. And yeah, to your point, Josh, we've seen people have an interest, even some of the more technical people who are like, yeah, I'm already running my own infrastructure. I don't need your help running nodes. But yeah, I don't have, the money to go put, 20 bands into the market, but want to get these types of yields. And as you get them, you're earning off of them. So you end up, building your treasury faster. And as we always say with the decimations, the best time to be yielding is yesterday, and the second best time to be yielding is today. And so this just enables people to take those types of actions, and we'll do the infrastructure stuff on the back end, make it all possible over at PacketPal. So yeah, it's a cool thing. It's nice to bring PacketPal back. And look, the mini is still dope. Like, the mini is where it's at, in my opinion, because it's a one-time expense, and then you have a node that's yielding, in perpetuity here, with the, obviously with the stake to earn protocol. This thing is plenty powerful to get the job done. And in addition to that, it's, you do the port forwarding from your home ISP, and then this thing just is just printing. It shows up on the node map, on what is it, Packet Node, or on insight.pkt. It shows up on the node map there. And yeah, it just gets going. And then what we've been wanting, the long-term vision for the mini, is that it ultimately is able to stream content as well. And so we do have some work to do to kind of bridge that gap, but the vision is that you'll have the ability to connect the Packet Hub to the mini, and you'll be able to just use it as a, Apple TV-like experience, but, from a decentralized platform in PKT. So it really provides multiple different benefits there. That tech, we haven't made that connection yet, but that's ultimately where we're passionate to go. In the meantime, it's a great time to be yielding, and we're seeing that adoption start to take off. So these are just some products that people could take advantage of.
Yeah, totally. And it also works as a VPN, and so you can actually use this thing as your VPN, which is using the Packet network.
Yeah, use that example, Josh. Walk through what you've done with the VPN on the Packet Mini, because you've literally.
This is my VPN. This is what I use as a VPN.
Right, but walk through the user story of like exactly what you do, so someone could understand the example of how to use a hardware VPN.
Yeah, so you plug this thing into your router, and it emits a guest Wi-Fi captive portal, you can actually, when you connect the edge extender antenna, you can also have a staff network, which is a password protected access, so you don't have to like enter a name, phone number, and email just to get onto it. And then you're online. I mean, it's just the same as there's the same experience as using your router, and you can just get online. In the back end, you can choose which exit you want to use, whether it's US or I think Canada, UK, or France. I think those are our exits that we have right now. And yeah, it's just a VPN. I mean, I go and use this as my VPN all the time, and it's super easy. I'll just obviously VPNs run a little bit slower than your internet. So whenever I need a VPN, I'll just go and just change my my Wi-Fi connection to my Mini, and I named it DGen Josh. And whenever I'm trying to DGen, I just go get onto my Mini, and I'm using the packet network as my VPN. It's totally frictionless and works great. It's actually pretty fast. It's not there's not a big latency or anything like that. And yeah, it's great. So the fact that this product can be a VPN, can make you money, and is powering the packet network all at the same time. And you can also get yield credits and assign that to your Mini. So if you want to run your Mini and you want to go get yield credits, a portion of those. Now, the limitation for CJDNS nodes is $5,000. So if you have 20 million yield credits, and that's 20 grand, you'll need to get more Minis, or you'll need to run servers. So there's some mechanics that need to be worked out on that side, but we actually run the servers for you on when you get the yield credits. So you can get a Mini and you can get the yield credits, and this thing makes you passive income. It's
yeah.
really
One thing to note though, you can't have multiple Minis running on the same IP.
True.
So that's that is a limitation. So you couldn't buy 5 Minis and set them all up in your house. You'd need to go set them up at 5 different
you need to go
internet
sneak
connections.
into your Nana's house and just go plug it into her router when she's not looking.
I've done it. I got them running at my dad's house. He's like, what's this thing in my cabinet here under my TV? Don't worry about that thing.
Don't worry about it.
Don't look at it.
That's your retirement, pops.
So those are great use cases for this thing. But yeah, just that VPN thing. So just to clarify, if you're setting up a VPN, usually what you're doing is you have an app running on your laptop or running on your phone, and you're running, and your internet connection is just your home network, whatever that is. It's to your Verizon or your Orange or whatever it is, right? So with the Mini is getting plugged into your home ISP. And then the key here is, on the back end, you can choose where you want your VPN, if you want VPN active, and where you want the VPN, right? And what that means is that when you connect to the Mini, like the network associated with your Mini, that will be running through the VPN. And so as Josh was saying, instead of being on your home network, let's say it's like Josh network is his home network, and then he chooses DGen Josh, it's still routing through his home network, but it's using the VPN, the packet network VPN. And so he's able to just browse and use the internet on his computer, but it's all routing through the UK or routing through France or routing through Canada. So
that's nice for like IoT, because that stuff will never set up with a VPN. But if you just like enter that as the access network for that, it just goes on there and it's on the VPN.
Yeah, the key here is the edge extender technology. So with the Mini itself, every time it has to use the captive portal that Rowdy offers. So the Mini, you're like logging in every single time, which is not great. But as Josh said, if you just have the edge extender connected to the Mini, then it allows you, the back end of the Packeteer OS allows you to create a staff network, what we call a staff network. So it's a password protected network. And then that way you can choose, like as Caleb, just the example you just gave, you can choose to connect to that network, and it's just password protected. If you already have the password entered into your device, then there is no password, for second use. And then bang, you're using that, DGen Josh network as your VPN Wi-Fi.
Yeah, the
Good.
staff network
Great
is
use
is a term that comes from the idea that you would be using this in a place of business.
Right.
So you'd have your
Restaurant.
guest network and then your staff network. But if you're just running one of these at home, then the staff network is a network for you.
Yeah. So it's an incredible use case. I mean, built some badass tech. I mean, the Packet network is vibrant. We spent years building this stuff. And yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there hasn't been a huge amount of people buying them. I mean, I realized that in the beginning, they weren't good for proof of work mining. The yields were poor, so it didn't really justify the means. Although the VPN thing is a great value proposition, but you could argue, paying $280 for a VPN, actually pretty reasonable, because that's how much I pay for, they make you charge for 3 years of Proton VPN. It's pretty expensive anyway. So, but yeah, it's still up there. But how many VPNs make you money? The answer is 0. So with the Mini, this thing will print again. The Mini, you can allocate 5,000 yield credits to, but when you buy a Mini, it's going to yield a baseline of a few hundred packet a day, maybe 300 packet, 250 to 350 packet a day, just baseline. And that's just as Rowdy sets that up, something that happens. And then on the cubes can yield 10,000 yield credits. So there's a benefit there to get a cube, and there's some other bonuses. If you check out the website, you can see how that value proposition is structured as well. But look, for the people that just want an easy, simple way to get after it, the value proposition on the Mini is there now. And a Mini with yield credits for 3 months is going to print. And so this thing's all come a long way. Even if you don't care about the making money side of this, the infrastructure side is really, really important. And that's the goal here with this DPIN network, is just building a decentralized mesh network that's globally accessible. And now, we'll be powering things like the Packet Hub and the Creator Hub. So, a lot of exciting stuff happening here.
Totally.
Yes,
Exciting
indeed.
times.
Yes, indeed. What, Josh?
I said, yeah, exciting times. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't been this fired up on this project since we launched it, because back when we launched it 5-6 years ago, I mean, wow, I feel like this has been my life's work now. It was a lot of talk. CJDNS was always there, but there was a lot of ideas and a lot of direction, and we were kind of pitching our way through how this thing actually worked. And I would always say, like, what does this look like in success? Like, cool, a network, all right, what does that look like? I couldn't visualize it. And now being able to touch all parts of it and using it and being able to access it and being able to invite people onto it and having people claim domains and having people use those domains to be able to, put websites and content and be able to direct people. And now this is like a vibrant network, and watching, nodes pop up online across the world on every continent. That just becomes exciting, because now there's so many places you can touch this thing and so many ways you can use it. And now this like visualization of what this looks like in success is so much clearer. And it's just kind of now it's just a marketing thing. There's still things to build, and we still have a lot of vision, but now it's really about adoption, and just inviting people to engage and to use this stuff and make it useful. It's not just like, hey, you should just do this because it's cool. It's like, do this because it's useful, because it adds value, because now you don't have to go and spend a few $100s a year on domains. Now you have a place where your content can be discovered. Now you have a way to make passive income powering this network, and creating a resilient network that's powered by the people. And that's what we've created here. And that's what the community gets to engage in. There's so many ways that people can touch this project now, regardless of how technical you are. You could have no technical experience whatsoever and be able to get involved. And so, yeah, as you can tell from my voice, I'm fired up on this and excited to start sharing it with people. We don't have to bullshit our way through it because it's real. And it's there's a little hope and dreams when you go start a project that like, yeah, we're going to do this thing. And I hope we know how to, and I hope we succeed. And I hope the world doesn't end before we do. And now it's really about like, hey, we built this thing. Come use it. Come get involved. Come claim a domain. At least just go get your name as a domain. Even if you're not putting up a website, at least that's like your avatar within the ecosystem. And yeah, there's just unlimited ways that people can participate now.
I think
Yeah, 'cause I
somebody's
remember.
somebody's gonna make a site where you can just upload your picture and like your wallet address, and you can point your name at it, and that they're gonna make a bunch of packet, because everybody in the community is gonna want a little page with their photo and their address on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's people need to be building stuff. It's so easy now that it's a website. It's just, come on, guys.
That'd be a cool thing, Caleb, is just to create literally just a template where it's like upload photo and it associates your wallet address, and just like have that be a baseline that just any person who gets a domain can do. That would be pretty easy to design and create. You need the database to store the picture, obviously. But
database, in my world, a database is a folder.
Right, for you, but for everybody else that goes and gets involved, you're gonna
no, you don't know how many of my software works. Like when somebody clicks submit, it puts it in a folder. There's no databases. Don't use a database unless you absolutely have to.
Right. Yeah. Well, look, there's a lot of easy things that people should be building here now. And it's funny because Caleb and I popped into the handshake community. These guys raised like $400 million to do this handshake vision, this handshake technology. And I asked him, I said, hey, I went into their Discord and I said, hey, is there a list of websites? And we asked for, Caleb ended up popping in there. No one ever provided a list. They don't have a list of websites. No one could really even identify more than a couple websites that are even built in the whole entire ecosystem. And I never was able to access even one of them. Their resolver technology is broken. And I don't know if you were able, did you ever able to get onto any websites, Caleb?
I think I got one of them to work. Somebody told me, hey, check this one. And I checked it and it's there. So it means there's something there. What we were there to talk about was the possibility of creating a handshake dot pkt
right.
sub domain, which we did with Namecoin, but it was kind of a fail of a launch because once we did it, we found out there actually aren't any websites on Namecoin. So
so Namecoin's been around for 15 years. They have absolutely nothing there. I think you said there were like 17 sites or something, 17 websites.
I mean, you can go to bit.pkt and see the list, and that's a dynamic updated list. But everything, I scrolled through the list and it was all like the hosting is expired, or there is no website here type of stuff. So and supposedly people are using Namecoin in other ways. That's the developers told me it's being used for other stuff, and there are people registering Namecoin domains, but
they're just not building anything on the sites.
Yeah, there isn't any central like index. There's no Google of Namecoin, and I built it, but it didn't find anything. And yeah, I think if there's things that exist there, they don't want to be found. So it's just swing and a miss on Namecoin, but the service will still be there. It's done.
Right. So we said, hey, what about a Handshake? Because that's a $400 million venture-backed project. There's got to be a bunch of websites over there, and we can just enable them to be automatically discoverable using a, .pkt .live or whatever. And no one could give us a list of websites there.
Yeah, and they don't have a list. Again, it's not discoverable. It seems that they do have websites. There's some, like they linked us to a few, but and I tested them to make sure they work, and they work. But
the URL works, but there's no websites there.
No. There's some websites. There's some websites that actually exist on Unstoppable. Unstoppable or Handshake?
No,
Unstoppable.
Handshake.
Handshake? Okay.
Yeah, Handshake. Yeah, HNS.
Was it HNS or was
Handshake is the Discord you and I were.
Okay, that's how bad my memory is. Anyway, there were some sites there, and so it might be a project in the future to put together some little piece of software to index the Handshake sites, and then do the same thing I did with Namecoin, which is to just try accessing all of them in order to be able to make a list and to make a website with a list. About a day of work, focused work, but it was about a day or 2 days of work with Namecoin because I already kind of knew what needed to be done. I don't really know what I'm dealing with Handshake. I know it's bigger, but I don't know how big, and I don't know how to run a node. So that's that's the concern with Handshake. But it could be worth doing, just to have some .hns packet or something like that.
Yeah, I think I grabbed hns.pkt. So, but yeah, it would be cool to do it and just pop into their community and be like, hey, anybody who has whatever website you have, just type in .pkt.live and now it's accessible from the internet. I think it would be a game changer for them, assuming that there's more than 17 websites over there and that any of them actually work. But if that's the case, then it could be a nice boon for an otherwise dead project. But yeah, I mean, this is where, the rubber meets the road with the packet tech. It's actually legitimately allowing these obscure, like intranet websites to actually reach the internet.
Yeah.
So
go grab a packet domain. Don't mess around.
Get your packet domain.
Get your packet domain. That's step one. Step two is get into the community, join the Telegram, and we'll continue the conversation over there and get involved. And then also go submit if you have a project. The Creator Hub is up.
Yeah,
you can submit projects. You got a project, you want to go submit it.
What's the URL, Josh? Creator.
It's hub.pkt.cache/creators, I think.
It's /creator.
Let me see.
Well, it's just a tab. You'll see the tab right on it for Creator Hub.
Yeah, you'll see it on there. But here.
Yeah, what's the URL to get straight to the Creator Hub? Amish.
Oh yeah, he made it. Just do hub.pkt.cache. We're gonna have to update the. He created just a category.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Just you can go to the hub.
And go to the hub.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for everyone tuning in. Appreciate your time. We'll catch you guys on the next one in a week.
Awesome. All right.
All right, guys. Later.
See you later. Have a good one.